Hey there, Suns fans. How are you? How you feeling? What's going down tonight? Well, I'll tell you what's going down. The Phoenix Suns lose again. Playing a shit team. We play like shit. It's the Phoenix Suns way. You know it. I know it. None of us know why we watch it, but we do. And here we are. Suns Fever 83. 41 years of this shit. LOL. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Keith Niddles. We are who we are. Playing team. Blow it up. Yeah, we got lots of fun stuff to talk about on this podcast. But first and foremost, welcome to the Suns Jam Session podcast. My name is John Voida. I'm the managing editor of BrightSideOfTheSun.com and one of the co-hosts of the Suns Jam Session podcast. I'll be doing this one solo tonight. Matthew's at the game. He might pop in, say hi, but I thought I'd go full Suns geek on this one. Suns geek, for those who don't know, somebody who frequents the show quite often, does a lot of live shows where it's just him by himself. I want to kind of feel that. I want to feel like Suns Geek and try to manage a show all by myself. So I'm definitely going to be interacting with the comments throughout the show. So feel free to let me know how you're feeling and we'll kind of talk through this conversation together. I do want to give a shout out to Lindsey Smith over at formerly of PHNX, who unfortunately was let go today. And, you know, for a lot of people who don't know, you know, the whole Suns content creating community, all of us podcasters, we actually all get along. There's not a lot of competition there. There's not like, ooh, don't watch PHNX, watch Suns Jam. And I mean, for those of you who know, like I was on their show earlier this week, I believe it was this past Monday, hanging out with them because we all lean into each other because we share this beautiful Suns community and we share this pain that we all go through night in, night out by watching the Suns. But it was unfortunate, you know, because she lost her job over there. A lot of people in All City, who's the parent company for PHNX, are losing their jobs. And you know, the one thing I'll say is continue to support. I think that's one of the most important things. Support PHNX, support those who take the time out of their day to put forth content that you can interact with. And, you know, shout out to her, you know, whatever she does next, we all know that she'll be great at doing because she was great at doing that, not only for PHNX, but for the Suns before that. So again, continue to support those who bring you the content. It says my connection's unstable. If you're on Wi-Fi, you support me because apparently my Wi-Fi is shit, even though I'm hooked up to the fucking hard line. I don't even understand. It's going to be one of those nights, Suns fans. It's going to be one of those nights. So crack them if you got them. Let's talk about the Suns. That's right. It's a loss for the Phoenix Suns because why the fuck wouldn't it be a loss for the Phoenix Suns? We're playing a team in the Indiana Pacers tonight that should be an easy win, right? Should be one of those instances where we go out there and we dominate and take care of business because this is a struggling team. The Indiana Pacers are a team that entered 11-15, not nearly playing up to the potential that they did a season ago. And the Suns, in typical Suns fashion, just come out of the gate stumbling and just unfocused. Giving up 32 points in the first quarter is something that shows to me that with that time off, whatever they're focusing on practice is the wrong thing. That defensively, this team is not locked in and never locked in. They're so focused on the three-point shooting and the spacing and the way to enhance the offense that they forget that there's a whole nother side of the floor that this game is played upon. And when you're taking on a team in the Indiana Pacers that enter as the eighth seed in the Eastern Conference and enter as a team that doesn't shoot a ton of threes, they're 26th in the NBA from beyond the arc. All they had to do was come in and go, you know what? We're going to shoot the three ball tonight. And we know that the Suns, that's normally our weakness. But if we have a weakness, the Suns turn it into a strength. And we're going to shoot 41 of these motherfuckers tonight. And again, they average shooting 33.6 a night. So they shot 41 tonight, and go figure, they make 39% of them. They shoot 16 of 41. Suns conversely only shoot 30, only make 9, so that's 30%. And the strength for something that should be a strength for the Phoenix Suns isn't. It's a weakness. It's a defensive weakness. It's something that you can take advantage because, again, this team is never truly locked in defensively. It's one of those instances that it was interesting, okay? It was interesting because on the broadcast, K-Ray said, typically through about 25 games, you learn the personality of a team. But that isn't the case with the Suns because they continually are hurt, and we've yet to see them at full strength. You know what? This is the personality of the Suns. We are who we are. We're a team that's never healthy. We're a team that doesn't play defense. We're a team that's not locked in. We're a team that's in dire need of an attitude adjustment. Dire need of an attitude adjustment. And it happens again and again. Where whatever team we're playing against, whatever their weakness is, becomes a strength of theirs because they make an adjustment to it. And they come in with a game plan and go, you know what? We don't shoot a ton of threes. And the Suns know that. So they're going to defend us a certain way. They're going to try to defend the interior because that's where the strength of the Pacers lies, right? On the interior. 5th or 6th in the league in points in the paint. So what do the Suns do? They focus on the interior and just give up wide open threes. Andrew Nembhard, 25% on the year. Three. So again, we talk about a team that doesn't have an identity because they haven't had an opportunity to play together. And if that's the case, if you believe that, and you're welcome to believe that, I just think that that's false. That this team is who we think this team is. A team that's injury prone and a team that can't play defense to get out of their own fucking way. Like, how many times have the Suns kicked the shit out of a team this year? And how many times have they gotten the shit kicked out of them? Like Eddie saying, if the Suns can get this thing to 10, should be the tagline for this team. Fuck that Suns up shit. Hashtag, if the Suns can get this thing to 10, should be the tagline for this team this year. Because time and again, that's what Eddie is forced into saying on the broadcast because the team is down 14 with 3 minutes left in the third for reasons unknown. You talk about the third, go figure, gave up 37 points in the third. 37 points in the third to the Indiana Pacers. We only scored 24. So we're down by 1 point. Thankfully, we get it down to 1 point at halftime. Was it 60-59? And the Pacers come out. They go 5 of 11 from beyond the arc for 45.5% from deep. They shoot 14 free throws in that third quarter and outscore the Suns 37-24. Pascal Siakam goes for 11 and 6 in the quarter. And the Suns are just standing around looking at each other being like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? And it's because, again, there's an attitude issue with this team. And it's unfortunate because we lost Devin Booker in this game.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Big Dick Booker.
That's right, Suns fans. If you didn't tune in, you missed Bradley Beal returning, and then Devin Booker in the third quarter departs with a groin tightness, right? The same thing that happened 2 years ago, December 2022. Do you remember? Fucking something December. I think it's Earth, Wind, and Fire September I was just singing. But same thing. December, a couple years ago, groin tightness. Sat for 3 games. And then tried to come back on Christmas. And then re-aggravated and was out for the entire month of January? A month of January when Mikal Bridges went off and started to become his own player. So much so that we traded him for Kevin Durant. Yeah, so that happened again tonight. The Suns, whenever somebody gets healthy, somebody gets injured. And that is unfortunate because he's probably not going to play on Christmas. I mean, they're going to rest the shit out of him. That's what the Suns do. They have to. Because they're going to be okay by the playoffs. They're going to be healthy. Yeah, I don't believe that shit because this team is who they are. They're injured and they don't play defense. But Devin Booker in this one, I was thinking about this during the game. So a couple things I had in my notes for Devin Booker. When's the last time, or I'll back up. I don't know how many of you watch this or watch the Suns on Suns Live. Some of you are local. You probably watch it on AZ Family, and you see the same repetitive commercials. And some of you might watch it on AZ or PHX Live, right? Suns Live. And it's the same thing. It's the commercials, which is just fucking annoying. The woo, woo, the stupid fucking Amazon commercials. And then if you're smart, what I figured out, because I was doing that, I'm like, dude, sometimes I watch it and I don't see that. I see the in-game broadcast, or they'll show clips in Suns history, and that's on the NBA app. So I was watching on the NBA app, and they were showing some Devin Booker highlights. And real quick, before I get there, am I grainy? Am I pixelated? Because it looks like it's driving me crazy that my Wi-Fi connection says that I have a low Wi-Fi connection, but I'm plugged in. Like I don't understand the internet or how it works. You'd think I'd be, okay, Jones says nope, so fuck you, computer, for lying. John Tran, a little. Okay. As long as you can see me, I just want to be seen. I want to be seen and clearly heard. But when I was watching the game through the NBA app, they're showing a bunch of highlights of Devin Booker earlier in his career. And he's hitting shots and he's getting up and he's puffing his chest. And he's screaming, right? That scream, yeah, that primal scream. When is the last time you saw that? When's the last time Devin Booker made a shot and then ended it with emotion and screamed to the crowd or screamed to his teammates and gave them a high five? I couldn't tell you the last time I saw that. Attitude adjustment with this team. It starts with Devin Booker. He goes out, it's kind of lackadaisical, does his thing. Don't get me wrong, like he's playing well tonight. Up until the injury, he was playing well. His final total ended on 5 of 10 from the field, 0 of 3 from beyond the arc because he's not a three-point shooter. But 17 points, 6 assists, only 1 turnover. But that passion is gone. And this is why that's important, my fellow Gemsters. Thank you. Thank you, Aussie Suns fan. Says I look beautiful. I'm sure you do too. You see the opposing team tonight. You see the Pacers. And you see the way that they play basketball. Right? With the hustle. Some of that grit that we've been talking about now for 2 seasons. That the Suns lack. They lack grit. What's grit? Look at the Pacers. Grit is more than a breakfast cereal. It's what the Pacers do. They play with a level of physicality, not overly physical, with some finesse mix in there. But man, they get out and run. They force the issue. They have active hands on defense. They switch. They play as a unit. This is not a good team that came into downtown Phoenix and beat the Suns tonight. It's not. But at the same time, because of their attitude and effort, they won the game. And I think back to last season, it was the same thing. Remember? Do you remember when Devin Booker dropped 62 and we lost the fucking game because we couldn't play defense and we don't have grit, and they do? It's the same issue. It's cultural almost with this Phoenix Suns team where I've said it time and again, and tonight once again proved it. Like it's a mentally weak team. They're not engaged. They're engaged in aspects of the game, not the entire game. The third quarter proved that again tonight. When we play and we lose to the New Orleans Pelicans, they prove it. This team is just, it's something that we really, as a fan base, I'm with a lot of you. I see some of the frustrations in the comments, and I'm right there with you. I don't know how to process what this team is. You see the Indiana Pacers and the way that they pick up full court, right? Full court pressure. When's the last time we full court pressed anybody? And not that lackadaisical half-ass shit where you're walking up and you're just kind of pressuring the inbounds and then kind of retreat. I mean, full court pressure. Force them to take 6 seconds off the clock just to get it across the timeline. It doesn't happen. Like, think back to that finals team back in 2021. That's what our second team unit did. Cam Payne, Javon Carter, when they'd come in the game, they were pests. Now, you don't need it necessarily from your first team unit all the time, but your second team unit, that'd be nice. And we just don't have any sense of urgency with this team. on offense, on defense, in the locker room, at halftime, right now, they're probably doing the interviews right now. Matthew's sitting in that room at the Footprint Center, and it's the same fucking thing. Talking about, well, we just need to be better than that. I'll tell you what. Be better with your fucking turnovers, Suns. It's ridiculous. 16 turnovers led to 29 points tonight. 16 turnovers to the Indiana Pacers. A team that doesn't really force turnovers. It's not really what they do. But the Suns just gift wrapped. I mean, they look bad. The sloppy Suns were telegraphing their passes early in the game. Like, you knew where it was going. Hey, Kevin Durant, hey, I'm going to you. And he's just throwing the ball to him. And then they're throwing the ball into the stands. I mean, this team is like Brett Favre. I watched that Aaron Rodgers Enigma thing on Netflix yesterday, and Aaron Rodgers is an enigma. But one of the things that they talked about was the time in his career when he first got drafted out of the University of California, and he was backing up Brett Favre. And how I believe in the first or second season of Aaron Rodgers backing up Brett Favre threw like 29 picks. Like, I can't fathom anybody throwing 29 picks right now, and that's how the Suns look tonight. They're just throwing picks left and right. This team is Brett Favre to the point where they're getting clowned. Where Obi Toppin's doing fucking transition fast break between the leg dunks because he's so open after another bad turnover by the Phoenix Suns. And the fact that their passes, even when they do meet their mark, even when they do whip it around and throw it to a potential shooter, even those are inaccurate. Go back and watch the game. You want to know why the Suns struggled so much from three-point range tonight? Because every pass wasn't hit right in the hands. It was down at their ankles. It was down at their knees. It was off to the side. So if you're grabbing the ball over here, and then you have to kind of take it over here and then shoot, and for those listening, imagine it being thrown off to your left or your right, and then you have to take the ball over and then try to shoot it. That's enough time for a defender to close. And that's what happened. The passes are just bad. I don't know what the fuck the Suns are working on in practice, but passing is not one of them. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. And then you see the Suns start to get upset with the officiating. And some of it's rightfully so, but it's officiating. Like the pendulum from the third quarter definitely swung in the fourth quarter. Right? Where in the third quarter, as I mentioned before, the Pacers shot 14 free throws. They were 10 of 14. But in the fourth quarter, the Suns had 11 free throws. Now, granted, they only hit 6, 54% from the free throw line. Good job, Suns. But instead, and the thing that's frustrating about that to see for Suns fans is that this is not a team that when they get frustrated with officiating, they get even. They're mentally weak. They get shittier. That's what they do. They just make more mistakes and compound upon themselves. And it's something that, again, frustrates you about this team. Mentally weak. All right, I'm going to go through some of the comments now. Again, thank you to everybody who's watching along live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're at. You can leave a comment. I'm doing the solo show thing tonight. Matthew might join us from the Footprint Center, but I wanted to be like my idol, Suns Geek, who goes live by himself all the time. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I just want to kind of chill, watch the game, and then talk to you guys one-on-one after this. So let's go through some of the comments. I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Let's go with Chris Horgan. Darth, I'm not anti-Bud, but we've praised him all year. But this team's three-point defense is a shit show. They don't play coherent three-point defense. You can't win in this league doing that. Chris, you're 100% right on that. 100% right on that. The Suns, we've talked about this three-point revolution with the Suns, and I don't know if we've necessarily talked about it overly positive. I think we talked about it more with hope because we finally were adjusting to what the league's been doing. That we've been losing games for multiple years now under other head coaches, whether it be Frank Vogel or Monty Williams, at the hands of teams who come in here and just shoot the shit out of the three, and we don't. We just take a bunch of mid-range shots. So I think that we were excited to see the change, and there's been pros and cons to it for sure. I wrote a piece for Bright Side of the Sun asking if the Mike Budenholzer system had broken Devin Booker, because his point totals are down, his three-point shooting's down, but he's taking more threes. He's trying to be a company man. He's trying to raise his hand and go, you know what? If this is what you need from me, I'll do it, coach. And it's hurting his overall game. Now his groin hurts, so that's unfortunate. But on the other side of it, yeah, the Suns' three-point defense, 19th in the league. They allow 36.8% from beyond the arc. So pretty much every defensive metric you're going to go and look at with this team is going to be bottom third for the most part, or close to it. Defensive rating, opposing points per game, 3-point shooting percentage. They're a bottom third defense. Their goal and their hope is that their offense can be so good that that's their best defense. We're just going to outscore you. And that's great for the 7 seconds or less Suns when they were doing something revolutionary. But this team isn't revolutionary. This team has lulls, drastic lulls. And we like to call those lulls the third quarter, because that's generally when they just come out unfocused after. Like, I don't know what the fuck they do at halftime. They must go in and, take those little massage machines and like put them on their butts or something and joke around in the locker room. Like, this is fun. We're having a good time, so. But yeah, that's definitely valid. This team just their 3-point defense is non-existent, and we saw it again tonight against a team that doesn't shoot a ton of threes. Looks like Matthew's joining us from the court. Matthew, I decided to do my own Suns Geek kind of show tonight. I was just going. My God, you almost fell.
I thought I was gonna fall over. It's like barely spread apart down there, so just get the right height.
What's going on, brother?
Not much. This game sucks, dude. What have you been talking about for the past half hour?
I've just been talking about how we don't have grit, we don't hustle, we don't play defense.
Yeah.
Like the Pacers beat us because they just gave a shit more. And how, like, on the broadcast, K-Ray was saying, we just haven't had a chance to really see this Suns team. You normally know who a team is through 25 games, but we haven't had a chance to see it through yet. It's like, no, this is who the Suns are. They're just injured all the time and suck.
Yeah, there's a different feel tonight, though. And what I'm used to, the last season and even the beginning of the season, there's a lot of boos out here when the Suns are losing and they're giving up, right? The fans are leaving with 5 minutes left in the game again tonight.
Damn.
But usually they're booing. There's no boos tonight. I feel like everyone's just either like just kind of they got to get back to holiday stuff, or they're just kind of sick and tired of it, because it's a different kind of atmosphere now where it's just like, oh shit, I'm at the game. I forgot I'm here watching the Suns, because it's taking a turn for the worse. I don't know if he talked about anything with the trade or, just before like I say anything about that, I was just going to say the body language I'm getting from the guys on the court, it's just, especially Beal, just seems like they know something's going to happen. It's like, why put forth the effort to try to win this game, even with Booker being out? Because I feel like I'm just not going to be here. Do you get that? Or I got that tonight.
I get that almost every night with this team. It's a lack of engagement. It's this air of arrogance almost that says, oh no, we'll be fine when the playoffs come around. We'll be, like that whole thing. And
yeah,
so tell me a little bit about the trade. What are you talking about there?
So close source I spoke to, trustworthy, I believe, did say that, it's in the Suns' hands to pull the trigger right now. And that the fact is that Butler wants to be here and the Suns have to pull the trigger. It's up to them. And maybe after this loss tonight, this is the final thing, the final stand for Matt Ishbia to pull the trigger, because word is Matt Ishbia was talking to Butler today on the phone. So that's what I heard. And got me kind of excited. Not going to lie, because tonight I was snoozing up there in media row. I definitely was taking a snooze. And that got me a little bit more pumped, because what you're watching out here, almost every home game I come to is the same shit. So something's got to change.
All right, so what you're saying essentially is a close source, somebody who's trustworthy, told you that conversations have occurred, which is nothing that's shocking, but if the possibility of having Jimmy Butler come to Phoenix could occur, and it's up to the Suns to ultimately make the decision on pulling the trigger on the deal that could make that happen.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes me happy.
that's
That's
it.
something that gives me a smile
Yeah, it's
because
kind of like, wait, hold on, wait, because it's like, why would Miami want, Bradley Beal due to injuries and all that? But anything can happen in the NBA, and players get what they want, and maybe it's the best thing that Miami can get with a disgruntled player. So who
Mhm.
knows? I'm not sure why the Suns are hesitant. Maybe because if it is Matty Ishbia that's hesitant, maybe it makes sense because he's just like, I just got this team together. I want to see
Yeah.
how it works, right? It's still new. Let's see. But then after losses, especially like this one, it's like, all right, it's not going to be the team I thought.
Okay, well, that gives me a little bit. Again, this is just one of those games where I was mentioning it prior to the Booker injury. Like, when's the last time you saw Devin Booker yell and scream after making a shot? You watch the old highlights. He's
Yeah.
yeah, and like
Yeah.
fist.
Yeah.
Like, when's the last time we saw that? So there's this
You know,
level of disengagement with this team,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think the 2 games ago, he was like that. I think we talked about how Book just kinda seemed like he was the older Book, just kinda look for attention, from the refs, but also just screaming at the opposing team, and he was doing that, I feel like, a few games ago. Um, and we didn't really see it tonight, but we had the injury happen. We had Bud go off, get a technical. We had Royce O'Neal get a technical because he threw the ball back at the ref. So
Yep.
there's something there, right? But this team needs somebody like a Jimmy Butler to come in here and get them to play, right? Because
Isn't
there's
it
there's
sad
no
though? It's sad that
it's
this
super
team
sad.
with this much
Yeah.
talent needs something. They can't look
Yeah.
within and find it. Like the Indiana Pacers beat the snot out of the Suns tonight because they looked inward and they found something to motivate them to get them through
Mhm.
the game. When the ebbs and the flows were going against them, they still had that grit to look within and fight. And the Suns, it's like
Yeah.
we're constantly saying that. Well, if only Jimmy Butler comes, and then Jimmy Butler comes and he's injured. It's like, well, if only this and if only that. Next thing you know, it's summer. It's 118 degrees outside, and
Yeah.
we're watching the finals in our air conditioned houses, and we're not in it.
And I was thinking about that too today. There was a comment from Cameron Johnson. He went on a podcast. It was the Old Man in the Three. He went on the Young Man in the Three podcast, and he was talking about just how the locker rooms are around trade deadlines and when things are up in the air and there's jobs on the line. It's not the same. Speaking from his small amount of experience, he talked about basically, obviously, he's probably referencing the finals run with the Suns
Yes.
and how it was an organic team and there was no thought about anyone getting traded. And now, I mean, year after year, it's going to be the Suns, like always on the trade block to get better. So I don't know if that's better for the team or not, because we're always looking for an instant solution now with Matt Ishbia. And sometimes it's just like, I don't know if that's the right thing to do for the team, but I think he just has no choice now, right?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because we have a month and a half essentially until the trade deadline actually is. So it's like it's this limbo that's going to continue to just hang out, and this
Yeah.
cloud that's going to be over the Suns as they, eventually make a trade or don't. But everyone's going to
Yeah.
have and live in that space, that mental space, time and again.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I don't know how they get through it without making a trade. Because right now you're just not getting it from anybody really. I don't know how to really describe the atmosphere tonight. It's something I haven't felt, I feel like, ever. And I just realized, I did take a lot of naps and sleeping a lot as I grew up. And like I think my head is a little lopsided from that. I think it's like a little squish on one side, like you could tell which side I like to lay on the pillow.
Oh yeah, are you a side sleeper?
I am a side sleeper. Yeah, that actually is something. If you do sleep a lot, your face does mold to the way you sleep. So
I just hope
just be
that
careful out
somebody.
there.
I hope I hope somebody in maintenance is like walking by you right now trying to clean the arena. This guy's over here talking about side sleeping.
Yeah, I
What the
know.
fuck's he doing? Should
I
he
know.
be here? But they're afraid of you because you have a lopsided head. Anything else you want to talk about before you get out of there? I know you you
Um,
probably want to go home and sleep on the other side of your head.
yeah, just even it out. No, nothing else. I think the post game press conference was pretty boring. I think
Yeah, what did they say there?
they just asked about the Devin Booker injury and they don't know when it happened.
Yeah,
Bud and Booker
great.
didn't know when it happened. There's no status on that. We're waiting for Kevin Durant, but I just kind of got out of there because my phone was gonna die and he wasn't anywhere close, I feel like, to coming. So it's definitely, I think, a rough night here in Phoenix. So I'm kind of glad it's over and I can go to sleep.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you, Matthew, for coming to us live from the Footprint Center. Get home safe. You'll be hosting the show on Saturday. I'll try my best to be here. But we're doing Christmas night at my aunt's house that night. So I'll be
Oh, that's
playing
fine.
games and
Yeah.
drinking. You know what I'm saying?
I'll do what you did, just do a solo one and get pounded for it. And then
It's kind of get pounded for. Ooh, go on.
yeah.
All
Pound the other
right.
side of my head.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
See you
Thanks,
guys.
Matthew. Thank you, Matthew, for coming live from the Footprint Center. That's dedication right there. Yeah, again, interesting night in Phoenix. All right, I'm going to continue to go through the chat, and then I got a couple more notes I want to talk about. And then we'll go from there. All right, let's see. Lissy, the new Woj from Mark N. He actually texted me about that during the game. So it'll be interesting to see if that actually occurs. It would be such a great addition, obviously, Jimmy Butler. But again, part of it is me being frustrated, the fact that we would need a Jimmy Butler. Like, why can't we just do this shit on our own? Let's see. We got a super chat. Michael Evans, $2. Thank you for donating again. And everyone who's here, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Do what you can to support us, because they got rid of Lindsey Smith on PHNX BS. Yeah, I talked about that at the top of the pod, but again, it's why it's important to watch and to click the likes and to engage, because it really helps. I'm blessed because this isn't something that I do for a living. I do it for fun. This is my hobby. Some would say that I'm a psycho with my hobby because of how much time I spend making all these graphics and recording and writing for Bright Side of the Sun. But it's a nice thing to kind of do on the side. It's not my primary income source. And again, I feel so bad for Lindsay, and there's about 3 or 4 other people over at PHNX and people across the All City Network, and Sarah Cazell at 98.7. I mean, it's just kind of a rough time in the sports media space as they're trying to figure out like what is sports media moving forward, and how do you make it, I wouldn't say profitable, but productive and profitable, I guess, too. And again, it's unfortunate. She's a good friend of the show, although she's never actually been on my show. But I did hit her up and give her my, just let her know, keep your head up, and one day we'll get her on here. I'm like, hey, you're freed up after games now. If you want to stop by, she laughs. So she's in good spirits. It's kind of a shit day over there for her and her fellow people who work over at PHNX. Joey Lucio, we can't defend. I fucking agree with that 110%. Foxy Jane 88. Boom, boom. If Book and KD don't want to be leaders, they can go. Appreciate the points, but they're not worth much else other than jersey sales. Well, apparently they're worth $50 million. But yeah, the leadership thing is just, again, I just so tough. I mean, it's this recurring issue with the Suns where why do we need, like, we should have leadership, and when you get paid that much, leadership doesn't always mean wins. Leadership means accountability. Talent without leadership is just wasted talent. I've said that before. I've seen it in teams that I've managed in the past where I've come over and I've taken over a talented team that's just in the dumps. And I go, what's going on, guys? And they're like, our last leader just didn't support us. I'm like, well, I'm here to support you, because you're talented and we need to take care of you. So it's an issue with the Suns. Leadership without talent is just a waste of talent. Aussie Suns fans, who do you want to have a beer with today, John? I'd like to have a beer with Lindsay over PHNX, have a couple beers, have some laughs, because everybody needs a drinking buddy. Joey Lucia, what else can we do? What do we need to do, Darth? For real, no BS. Lay it out for us. What do we need to do? So Joey's like, how do you fix this team? You give a shit on defense. Like, it's this team has so much talent. It's simple as focusing on the defensive end. Like focusing, like what we saw from Indiana tonight. When we went through that 3-game road trip and we're losing to teams like New Orleans and the other 2 teams we lost to after that we shouldn't have lost to. I don't even remember. I was so pissed, and we've had so much time off. But they all gave a shit on defense. What happens when you give a shit on defense? You start to create turnovers, and it turns into offense. That's literally what happened for Indiana tonight, right? They literally 16 turnovers, some of them forced, some of them unforced by the Suns. But it led to what, 29 points, did I say earlier? 29 points off turnovers? And then the rest of the offense can take care of itself. You just have to give a shit on that side of the ball. Kevin Durant wasn't giving a shit on that side of the ball. He was letting Pascal Siakam take every three he wanted, not even a hand up. And I'm not pointing out just him, but he was one of the guys. Nurk looked horrible on defense for stretches in this game as well, where there's just no focus on that side of the ball, where it's just like, okay, well, we'll go get it back over here. We'll outscore them over here. And then when they go on their cold streaks, all of a sudden they're down 15. And because they've allowed the opposing team to get into rhythm, combined with the fact that they're down 15 and they can't stop anybody because they're not that mindset, they have to climb all the way back. And that was it. I mean, that's just it. So this fucking team, I swear. I wanted to win so bad tonight too, just because, you know, it's shitty hearing your friends are losing their jobs. Aussies, that's fair code, but remember, it wasn't the guys at PHNX that did it. It was the big guys. Yeah, this was not a PHNX decision. This was above them, which is unfortunate. And shout out to my buddy Espo, man. He had to lead off the pregame show talking about it, and that guy handled it with class, man. Fucking class. So code says, I unsubscribe to them. I can't support them. No, do support them, or the rest of the guys will go. You have to. You have to support those guys, man. I'm telling you. Like, don't watch me. Go watch them, please. Like, I appreciate you watching me. I really do. But go watch them, man. I mean, they need all the support they can right now. I really, honestly believe that. To Freddie, I would like to say that the lack of actual games played, we looked out of sync. Truth is, there's no urgency out there, and lazy rotation and lazy passes. 100%. Freddie, 100%. The starters don't trust or like Nurkic out there. Okay, so this is a good opportunity to kind of have my little Nurk speech, if you will.
Nurk. Delicious definition, make them boys go crazy.
Oh. All right, so Yusuf Nurkic in this game ends with a final total, a double-double for him tonight. 4-7 from the field, 12 points, 10 rebounds, right? 2 assists, couple turnovers, 1 steal. Overall, a negative 15, not the worst on the court. Here's my Nurk thing, okay? And I've said this again, time and again. And it's funny because when you're on opposing subreddits, which I'll get to momentarily, you see how they absorb their team. It's really insightful. And I would really, really love if everyone who watches this show during a game, just go to the opposing subreddit of the team we're playing and go into the game thread and help me downvote all their bullshit, because that's what I do. When I see a dumb comment, they're like, the Suns announcers are fucking stupid. I'm like, downvote. Like, fucking Devin Booker's got a Lego head. I'm like, he might. Downvote. But when you're in there, you see how they absorb their own team. And the guys, they're Nurks, if you will. They're Nurks. The guys that they're frustrated with, their fan base is frustrated with. And the majority of the time, it's the center. So the issue that we have with Nurkic and the frustrations we have and the intricacies of his game that make us want to throw up. Like if you had a steak tonight like I did, you're like, oh shit, here it comes. Blah, 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 blah. But we're not alone in that. And that's always been kind of the drum that I've beat relative to Yusuf Nurkic. That you get what you paid for. He's a mid-level center. I believe he's 18th highest paid center in the league. 18th. So it's like when you're paying 3 guys $50 million each, you're going to get that. Right? And it's just what it is. You don't have to like it. I'm not asking you to like it. But I do find it funny that there's a play early in the game where Tyus Jones runs a pick and pop or pick and roll and throws it to Yusuf Nurkic and he dunks it. And people on Twitter are like, dude, he doesn't even have any hops, man. Like, even on that, he can't jump. It's like, motherfucker, dude. Like, the guy scored. He didn't. Now, granted, like, later in the game, he's going up and he loses the ball. And that's what, again, that's where the Nurk people just, oh, yeah. Oh, just jerking their gherkin to the fact that Nurkic messed up because they can just sit there and go, yeah, see, like the Leonardo DiCaprio from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood meme, like, oh, but even when he has success, people have to dog him. And that's okay. You do you, boo. If that's what you do to feel better, I troll a few people on Twitter. That's what I do to feel better. I star their tweets and whatnot. But at the same time, like, what's your solution? What's your, like, that's my thing. Like, what's your solution? I guess the same could be said about Bradley Beal. He's injured, doesn't show up, pisses us off. But again, like, what's the Suns' solution there? Do we have one? We really don't. That's the unfortunate part about it. We really don't. Because he's just... Let's see, Freddie. Stroke the shaft, cradles the balls. Aussie Suns fans. The Suns have me identifying as a Christmas tree today. Lit up on the outside, dead on the inside. That's fantastic. I hate the shit thrown at Nurk. He might have just checked out a bit. He just looks worn out by it all. Yeah, he definitely is worn out by the constant negativity thrown his way, and part of that's on him. Like, if negativity is being thrown your way, like TF Timepiece says, like, people on Twitter are dreadful. They literally have nothing good to say ever. And if that's what he's looking at, yeah, he's going to continue to have that happen. Aussie Suns fans also says, ooh, the solution is play Bol instead. Yeah, there's one guy who watches the Suns Planet, who every time I go in there is just Bol. It's like, listen, guys, Bol ain't the answer. Bol, the guy's got no girth. Like, the one thing that Nurkic has is size, and we can't replace the size. Who else is out there? You know, maybe Valanciunas, maybe, Vucevic, I think, makes 20 mil, so that's out of the question. But, like, maybe Valanciunas or something. It's like, yeah, okay, you're even getting a less talented, but hey, just be different. And then everybody, might be, don't nobody look at Nurk and want Shaq. They do, though. They don't want Shaq per se, but they want him to dunk it every time. Which is like which sounds weird to say, but at the same time, like, he can't dunk it every time, but nobody dunks it every time. Miles Turner's missing shit, but we see what we want to see. TF Timepiece. Bol weighs 3 pounds. He's a light pole. I got a funny Bol story. Let's drop some. We haven't played this one in a while.
Look, up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's
Bol, motherfucker.
All right, so here's my funny Bol story. I have some of my coworkers know that I write for Bright Side of the Sun, and I have a podcast. And one of them came to my office a few weeks ago, and she's like, "Is one of the Suns like really, really tall?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, she's like, "No, like really, really tall." I'm like Bol. She goes, "That's him." I go, "What do you mean?" I showed her a picture. I'm like, "This guy?" She's like, "Yeah." I go, "Why do you ask?" "Oh, he's my neighbor. I live in a townhouse, and he lives 2 houses down, and he always has his music playing till 3 a.m, and it always smells of pot." And he has a driver come pick him up and drop him off, and we have to. She's like, "I tell the superintendent all the time, like, they need to keep it down," and that's funny. That's my little Bol story. I was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna tell that on the podcast one day," and now I've done. Matt in the chat. Nurk is having a worse season compared to the last. He had some games last season where he sort of carried the Suns. I don't know if it's a coaching thing. That's valid, but he still is what we're paying him to be. And Freddie's got it right. This is my thing. The solution is coaching adjustments. Teams like Indiana just want to attack Nurk with his drop defense when their centers can shoot the 3. What's interesting is Nurk wasn't playing drop defense a ton tonight. He was playing perimeter defense, and he got burnt on it a few times. And I was wishing that he would play some drop defense, knowing that this is a team that doesn't shoot the 3 ball well. But initially that's what he did. But then because they shot the 3 ball so well, Bud had him play more on the perimeter, and then he gets beat by them going by him. And I'd rather him play the drop cover and let them shoot themselves out of the game instead of inviting them to hit layups, which keeps that lead kind of progressing, which is, again, something frustrating. All right, let's see. What else do I have in my notes here? Why can't the Suns get and 1 calls? Like, it's really ridiculous, this whole continuation bullshit. And Indiana leads the league in and one percentage. 11% is they lead the league. I saw that in one of the in the subreddit. Actually, they were talking about it and kind of like, yeah, well, it sucks for the Suns, which is right. What else are they going to say? But yeah, why can't we get and one calls? Like, what the fuck is a continuation anymore? I don't even get it. I'll tell you what I do get. I get Batman. Let's see if I can find this subreddit stakeout.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Where is she? Tell me where she is. Please. I've been looking for her for a long time. So there I was in Indiana. I don't know if you know this. A lot of meth. A lot of meth there in Indiana. They need a dark night to patrol the rooftops. But it's only 3-story buildings in Indiana. But I was on the subreddit for the Indiana Pacers, seeing what they were saying about the Suns. And here's what I found. The first comment said Phoenix, but it was spelled Pheonix. And somebody commented, it's wild how often that thing gets misspelled. It is kind of wild. People misspell Phoenix wrong all the time. I get that Grayson Allen is an amazing shooter, but also, fuck that guy.
Which brings me to
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
we got to fuck that guy from the Pacers about Grayson Allen. That's pretty nice.
Grayson Allen is Ted Cruz, who never discovered McDonald's. Durant is not playing any defense. He should be a pacer. Nurkic is so bad. LMAOOOOOO. LOL. I'm not used to being on this side of the officiating. Booker's team deserves it, though. Such a foul-baiting bitch. Best defense we've probably played in at least 3 years.
That's frustrating to hear, that their fan base is like, holy shit, look, we're actually playing defense. And part of it's because the Suns were in their own head and fucking up on offense and then fucking up on defense, which was fucking them up on offense.
We playing good, but the Suns are playing a different level of ass.
And then the last comment that I chose to bring forth to the Suns Jam Session community.
The Suns court is nice.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
All right. Take another look at the comments here, see if there's anything else we want to talk about before we hand out the Jam Star. And the fact that I've gone 47 minutes by myself. See, this ain't that hard, Suns Geek. Somebody clip this right here and send it to Suns Geek. It ain't that hard. Hosting by yourself. I got Dr. Pepper if I need it. My dog's ain't barking. Love you, Suns Geek. Hope you get to Phoenix safely. He's moving out here, man. He's moving out. He's literally on the road, I think right now, driving out to Phoenix, dude. Fucking Suns Geek. Back in the fold. All right, let's see. Yeah, not much else relative to Aussie Suns fans. Going to take the kids, hang out with the Grinch. Ooh, love you guys. Love Suns all day. We need it. Being a trophy husband is exhausting. And Suns Geek just tweeted 30 minutes from Phoenix. Awesome. John Solo in the house from Freddie. Love it. And TF Timepiece. Crazy indie fans crediting us for our ass play for their win. That's how bad they are. See, that's what's frustrating about this fucking team. All right, let's hand out some hardware.
Jam Star of the Game.
All right, Jamsters, reminder, subscribe, rate, review, hit that thumbs up button, please. Help support the pod. Truly appreciate it. Let me know in the comments who your Jam Star of the game. John Tran. Can we skip Jam Star? Aussie Suns fans. Steph Curry. Yeah, they got blown out. Suns Fever. Jam Star tonight. I have nothing. Jam Star, Draymond Green. Yeah, they had a bad game. Well, I mean, the one guy that we didn't talk about in this game.
Who the heck are you?
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything?
I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate because this is a loss. So what do we now? Was it 12-3 with Kevin Durant? But 37 points by KD, 15 of 27 shooting to get there. Also had 10 total rebounds. So he went for 37 and 10 and had 6 assists and had 5 turnovers. And in typical Kevin Durant fashion, they were not good. 3 of 6 from the field. And in the fourth quarter, he went off for 16 points, 6 of 7 from the field, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Did everything he could to try to get us back in the game. He scored 16 of the Suns' 28 points. And I've run out of superlatives to talk about Kevin Durant when it comes to the complexity of his shot making, because it's just stupid. Like, what he can do is just dumb. It's so unbelievable how amazing he is. But outside of that, Kevin Durant, amazing game. It just sucks it's in a loss. It sucks that we lose Devin Booker. It means that the oldest guy on the team, Kevin Durant, is once again the guy we have to lean into. And it's just not a recipe for success for the Suns. So let's get another old guy, Jimmy Butler, as soon as fucking possible. Joey Lucio, this is a great point. I want to bring this up. He says, Jamstars books new shoes. The Nightmare Before Christmases. So I'm going to see if I can pull this up. Nightmare Before Christmas. Doodle-doo-doo-doo. So I have a complaint here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save that image and I'm going to pull it up here for those who are watching. If you're listening, I'll describe Book's new shoe. But if you've seen his Halloween shoes, they're black with the sole on the bottom that's white, but it also glows green when you wear it in the dark. So kind of a cool concept. And of course, this fucking thing didn't save, so now I got to snip it. But one of my issues with the shoe, well, there's 2 issues that I have. One, it's one I can never wear because, and I might have said this here before, it's definitely something I've said in conversations with people. Like the fact that it lights up or it glows in the dark. Like if you ever went to the movies and were wearing the shoe and, you're kind of kicked up and having your shoes just glow green. I think that there it is. I'm pulling it up there. So it's the Nightmare Before Christmas is all white, has the stitch around the Nike logo and still has the translucent sole that glows green. And Devin Booker wore these tonight. They were released today on Nike.com. And again, not a shoe I would buy because I don't like the stitching around the Nike, and the fact that it glows green is just not something I like because I don't want to walk into any dark area and my shoes are glowing like I'm a 3-year-old. And that's just me. This is my perspective. But my issue is like if you go to Nike.com, they never show when the shoe's going to drop. Like I know because I search it and I know when the next ones are coming. The Sedonas are coming out January 1st. January, I believe, 16th is when the Forrest Gumps drop, which I really, really want. But typically on Nike.com, they'll have like upcoming releases section, and they never show the Book shoes in there. And unless you know it and go on in the morning, which if you went on at 8 a.m. Arizona time this morning, the shoe dropped at that time. It's just kind of dumb how they do it. I feel like they're kind of doing Book a disservice with that. I think it's kind of bullshit. Just my perspective. That's my prerogative. The Nightmare Before Christmas, as Aussie Suns fan says in the chat, is Book's groin. It's so fucking true. So fucking true. All right, up next for the Phoenix Suns, it's going to be on Saturday. They're playing the Detroit Pistons, another shitty team. So expect a barn burner in downtown Phoenix for that one. The Pistons are a team that I picked to do a lot better than I think they were projecting. I think thus far they're doing that. A team that has an infusion of youth with some veteran presence. That's where Tobias Harris ended up. That's where Malik Beasley ended up. You have Cade Cunningham. You have Jaden Ivey. So you have this young core surrounded by these veteran presence, a veteran presence. And they're outplaying expectations right now. And this is a team that scares me because they play with hustle and they play with fire and they have something burning from within. They want to prove themselves. And the Suns just will let them do. Like I'm gonna look up real quick. Like what are they bad at? And I'll tell you exactly how the game will go. Like it's really getting this way with the Suns this year. So The Detroit Pistons are 11-16, so very similar to the team that we just faced. The Indiana Pacers, I think, were 12-15 when they came in. Taking a look at their points per game, they're 20th out of 30. Defensive rating, 17th out of 30. So they're a team that's really in the middle. Look at what they like to do. So from a three-point shooting standpoint, they're 16th in the league, 36.8%. 13.3 36.8 is their three-point attempts per game, 16th in the league, and they're 15th in the league at 36.2 makes. So they're a team in the middle with threes, so they'll definitely shoot the lights out against us. They're last in the league in steals. There you go, Suns fans. That's how we keep the Detroit Pistons in the game next game, is we turn the ball over. A team that doesn't steal the ball will get steals against us. That's a fact. It's just a fact. Whatever you're bad at, the Suns will make you good at. That's it. Free throw percentage, okay, they're 25th. Rebounds, 7th on the defensive end, 7th in total rebounds, so they're going to be okay on the board. So it's going to be a game where we get frustrated with Nurkic. I can see that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And they give up. They're the 5th worst in the league at opposing 3-point percentage. They allow 37.3. So it's going to be another night like tonight where we just don't go with our game plan or we miss the shots. So there you go, Suns fans. So tune in on Saturday night if you have an opportunity to do so right here at the Suns Jam Session podcast. If you get a chance, please donate to Dave King's Brightside Night. We're getting close to kind of the deadline, not the official deadline, but kind of the official deadline. This week, if you donate just $15, you're entered for a chance to win a $150 gift card to the Suns gift shop. If you want to donate more than that, you get extra discounts. You get an opportunity to get 2 upper-level tickets or 2 lower-level tickets. And that game that we're going to be sending right now, we have 1,500 kids that we're sending to the game against the Hawks on the 9th of January. So again, anybody who donates to that, truly appreciate it. I'll answer this last question. Al Doji, hey John, what do you think it's about getting Howard or Cousins for dirt cheap? I don't think we do. Because why? I mean, Cousins is a locker cancer, although our locker's already weird. Locker room's already weird, and so is Dwight Howard. They're just weird. I feel like Jimmy Butler happened before that. So, again, thank you ever so much. You're not donating to anything until my attitude changes, Maya B. Don't do it for me. Do it for the kids. Don't do it for me. Send a kid to a game. $15 sends a kid to a game. Like, that's powerful. Fuck my attitude. Do it for the kids. On that note, Jamsters, again, subscribe, rate, and review. You can read my writing at brightsideofthesun.com. You can follow me at Darth Voida on all major social media platforms. Appreciate you taking some time to hang out with me after this one. Again, hit that thumbs up button. Help support the show any way you can. Go home and love your family.